Good morning or afternoon, whichever one you're watching this on. Today we are on lesson 8 of unit 2 in phonics. Today is Wednesday, October 28th. We're going to go ahead and get started. All right, so lesson 8 of unit 2. So, I do this every time. I should not share the screen until I'm done. All right, so in your phonics journal, we need to open up to page 32 today. Page 32, we're going to do some mix it ups today. Before we get started, go ahead and number page 32 on the bottom. Put today's date on the top, which is 10/28, and title our page with mix it up. Okay, so remember we're on page 32. 10/28, mix it up. So if you need to pause the screen, pause it to write this, and then hit play when you're ready. Okay, so remember guys, on our mix it ups, we are listening for the sounds that we hear, not how it is really spelled. We focus on that after we talk about the sounds that we hear, okay? So make sure that you are drawing your boxes. I noticed that some of you are not drawing your boxes when you're doing this, and the boxes are important to show the individual sounds, okay? So the first word that we're going to do, number 1, is the word hat. Hat. Say that word slowly to yourself and think how many sounds you hear in that word. At. I hear 3 sounds. At. So I'm going to draw 3 boxes. Okay. So I have my 3 boxes. The first sound that I hear is, and I know that the letter H makes that sound. The next sound I hear, ah. I know that an A makes the ah sound. Then I hear t, hat, t, t, and then I know that's a letter T. So I have the word hat, ah, hat. Okay, so we're going to change it now though. We're going to make the ah sound ah in the middle. So instead of at, it's going to say ought, ought. Think about how many sounds you hear in that word. I still hear 3 sounds. Ought, ought. So I still have 3 boxes. Now my first sound and my last sound stay the same. Ought. So I'm going to go ahead and just move those over. An H and a T. The part that's changing is the part of the middle. Instead of saying ah, it's saying aw, aw. What letter says aw? I think it's the letter O. The vowel O says aw, ah, ah. So we went from hat to hot. Good. All right. Number 2, our second word is the word mad. Add. Add. Say that word slowly to yourself. How many sounds do you hear? Add. I hear 3 sounds. I hear add, add. Okay, so the first sound I hear is and that's the letter M. Ah, Again, I know that the I sound is the letter A. So add, d, d. I know that the D makes that sound. So I have the word mad. M-ad. Oops, backwards. M-ad. Good. So this time I'm not changing any letters. I'm not taking anything away. But what I want to do, instead of ah in the middle, I want it to say a. M-aid. How many sounds do you hear in that word? M-aid. M-aid. I still only hear 3 sounds, but they sound different. I still hear the at the beginning. I still hear the d at the end. The part that's changing though is the a, the I becomes a. So how am I going to do that? How do I make the a say a instead of I? One way to do it would be to add a silent E at the end to make it say m-aid. Because this is a long A sound. We need to make sure we put that long sound line on top of it. M-aid. Good. Now there are other ways to write the word made. This is made like I made my bed, but there's a maid like the ladies that clean like hotel rooms or fancy people's houses. Those are called maids, and it's spelled differently. It has AI because AI together says A. So there's 2 different ways to make the word say made. Word number 3 is the word film. Film. Think about that. How many sounds do you hear in the word film? Film. I hear 4 sounds. Ilm. Ilm. I hear 4 sounds. My first sound is a, and I know that's the sound of the letter F. Eh, 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 eh. That's an I. F, il, that's the L. Ilm. That is the letter M. All right, so the word film is ilm. Film. Good. Nice. All right, so this time we're taking a sound away. We're taking away the last sound, the part. So our word this time is just fill. Fill. Think about how many sounds you hear in that word. Fill. Film had 4 sounds, but fill only has 3 sounds. Ill. Remember, we're doing sounds, not letters. Ill. Okay, so I still hear the F at the beginning. I still hear the I in the middle. Fill. And I hear the sound of the L. But when I'm looking at that, does that look right? It doesn't look right. What do I know? We've already talked about this year. What do I need to do to that L? I have a short vowel sound and it comes before a letter, a consonant letter at the end of the word. What do I need to do to make that look right? I need to double that L. Fill. So even though I have 2 letters in one box, those 2 L's together only represent one sound. Ol. So we have ill. Good. All right. And word number 4 for today is the word get. Get. Think about how many sounds you hear in get. G, at, g, at. Okay, so I hear three sounds. G, et, g, et. I hear three sounds. The first sound I hear is g, g, and I know that that is the letter G. G, eh, 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 like egg or elephant. That's the letter E. G, et, t, t, and that's the letter T. I have the word get. G, et, get. Nice. All right, so we're going to change that word now to the word gate. G-ate. G-ate. Think about that. How many sounds do you hear in that word? Draw your boxes. Okay, so I still only hear three sounds. G-ate. G-ate. Okay, I still hear the G at the beginning, the g, and I still hear the t at the end. So I'm going to go ahead and put that in my box. Okay. G-A. I know that's a long A sound, so I need to put the A there with the line above it to show that it's a long sound. But that doesn't look right. Like I know it's supposed to say A, but it doesn't look right. I need to do something to this word to make sure that anyone who looks at it knows that that says A, not A. What can I do? We're going to add a silent E at the end because I know that when I have a consonant silent E at the end, it says A. So the word is g-a-gate. Nice job, guys. Okay. So now I'm going to share my screen. All right, so here are the words that we just did. We said hat went to hot, mad into made, film into fill, and get into gate. All right, so now we're going to talk about some words and we're going to break them apart. Our first word is the word prank. Prank. Rosa thinks it's fun to prank people. So we have the word prank. And if we break it apart, the onset of this word is the per part. And the rhyme part of the word is ank. Prank. Okay. But I don't want it to say prank anymore. I want the to say pull. Plank. 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 So what's my new word on the curve going to be? It's going to be plank. Plank. Like people had to walk the plank off the pirate ship. All right, our next word is the word spell. Sally knows how to spell very well. And if we break this apart, the onset is the sp, sp, and the rhyme part is L, sp, L. Now notice, guys, I only have one L here. Why is that? Why don't I have the two L's like that's in the word? Because I'm just focused on the sounds that I hear in this part, the way that it's actually spelled. The words that are actually spelled properly are in the dark, bold ones. Okay, so we have spell, spell. Okay, but I want to get rid of that part, and I want to say smell, smell. So what is the new word on the curve? Smell. Smell is the new word on the curve. Right. So the clown entertained the children. Clown. So the onset of that word is cl, cl, cl. And the rhyming part is own. Clown. Clown. This is the part we talked about yesterday. The OU sound, the OW and OU. So I don't want it to say ol anymore. I want the onset to have er, crown, crown. So what's the new word on the curve? Crown. The new word is crown. Good job. All right, the next word is scout. The scout leader gave the girl a badge. Scout. Out. So the onset part is, and the rhyming part is out. Out. Good. All right. I don't want the k sound anymore, though. I want it to say out, out. So the new word on the curve is out. It is spout. Nice. All right, last word. My daughter wrote me a sweet note. Sweet. Sweet. All right. The onset is the sw, and the rhyming part is the eat. Sweet. Sweet. All right. I don't want it to say w anymore though. I want it to say oh, sleet, sleet. So the new word on the curve is sleet, sleet. Good job. All right. Our spoonerism for today is mime a clownton. Mime a clownton. Mime a clownton. All right, so I'm going to show it to you, see if that will help. Mime a clownton. What should it say? This one's a little tricky because this time we take the blend from this word, not just the first letter. So today's spoonerism is climb a mountain. Climb a mountain. Our learning targets for today are I can read words with different spellings for the oi sound. Oi. And I can complete all steps of the writing process. All right, so remember that vowels are the parts of the words that we emphasize when we sing. Okay, so we have A, which says and A, like astronaut and actor and acorn. We have the vowel E, which has elf and eraser and ear. And like the word egg, we have the letter I, the vowel I, like in the word iguana and igloo and ice. And then we have the letter O, the vowel O, like in the word ox and octopus and ostrich. And we have the vowel U, like in up, umbrella, and unicorn. So if you saw this spelling, the O-I, turn on my pointer, the O-I in a word, how would you say it? What would you say for those two letters together? These two letters work together as a digraph or a letter team, and you would say the sound oi. Oi, let's say that together. Oi, oi. So let's read some words with this spelling. We have oil, oil. Hold on for 1 second, guys. Sorry about that. Okay, so we have the word oi or oil. So if you see this word, oil, what would you do to make it say boil? What would you add to it? Oil, boil. You're going to add a B to the front of the word to make it say boil. How would you make it say foil? What would you change to make it say foil? You would change the B to an F and it would say foil. How would, oops, I got ahead of myself. How would I change it to make it say soil? Soil. I would change the F to an S and make it say soil. Good. And if I wanted to make this a past tense and say spoiled, I would add the ED to the end. Now, if I want to change this word and make it say oink, oink, I would put NK at the end of it. And then we have the word topsoil and coin. So those are all words that have the OI, oi sound spelled with OI. So we're going to look at our individual code chart and we're going to look at page 9 to look at the oi sound with the spelling OI, like in the word oil. So look at this power bar. This power bar tells me that this is used often as the way to spell that sound, but it's not the only way to spell that sound. So we're going to trace the OI, oi, in green on our code chart. Make sure I'm on green. Okay, so, oh, and here it is right here. OI, oi. Okay. So if we saw this spelling, O-Y, in a word, how would you say that? Is another two-letter team, a two-letter digraph, that makes the same sound. O-Y also says oi, like O-I. So we have the word toy, toy. How would I change that word to say soy, like a soybean? What would I change? I would change the T to S. Good. And what if I wanted to change the word soy to the word boy? I would change the S to a B. Good. So it says boy. And I wanted to give you somebody's name, the name Roy. Roy. What would I do? Roy. I would change it to an R. And look, I would make sure it's capital because it is a proper noun because it's someone's name. And then I want to make the word Roy to the word joy. Joy. How to change that word? I would use a letter J instead of the R. And then I have the word enjoy and employed and cowboy and soybean. So in our code chart, we're going to go to page 9 again and find the OY spelling for the sound oi, like in the word toy. And look at this power bar. This is telling me that it is not the only way to spell the oi sound. We know that we have OI and we have OY that both say oi. And here it is right here. So there we go. We're gonna highlight it with green because it is a vowel sound. Okay, so let's do some chaining. All right, this is gonna be difficult for me to do on here because, hold on one second. I'll be right back. Hold on. Okay, I'm back. I had to figure out how to do this without writing on the actual board. Okay, so here we go. All right, so I had to make it smaller. So if I start with the word oil. Okay. How do I make it say boil? Boil. To do. So I'm just going to add a B in the front. Boil. But now I want to change that word to make it say coil. 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 Okay, so it sounds like a K or a C. I'm going to put a C because I know that's how you spell it. There's the word coil. Good. So now change the word coil to coin. Coin. What am I going to change? Coin. I'm going to change the L to an N to make it say coin. So now I make the word say join. 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 So instead of having a C at the beginning, I'm going to have a J. Good. Now we're going to make it say joint. Joint. I'm not taking anything away. I'm not changing anything this time. What am I doing? Adding a letter at the end, and the letter is going to be joint. It's going to be the letter T. Good. And then the last word that we're going to create is the word point. So we're going to go from joint to point. What am I changing in this word? I'm taking the J and making it a P. Very good. Okay, so we're going to do a second set. Okay, the first set is, we're going to start with the word out. 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 Okay, there's the word out. We're going to make it say pout. 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 What am I going to do? Pout. Good. I'm just going to add a P to the beginning of that word. Now I want it to say bout. Bout. I'm changing the P to a B. Nice. All right, so now we're going to change something new this time. We're not going to have out. We're going to have oot. 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 Can you hold on for a second, please? Okay, I have a very needy child right now. All right, so we're going to the word boot. Oot. We talked about that ooh sound earlier this week. What two letters do we know of say ooh? Ooh. It's two O's. That's right. So it's going to say B-O-O-T. Okay, now we're going to go from boot to root. Root. What are we changing? We're going to change the B to an R. Nice. So we're going to go from root to room. Room. What are we changing this time? Okay, so we're going to have R-O-O-M. Room. Okay, now we're going to add, we're not going to take anything away. We're not changing anything. We're adding a letter. It's going to say groom. Groom, like the bride and groom. Groom. What are we adding at the beginning? We're adding the G. G-R-O-O-M. Good. And now we're going to make it say grim. 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 I still hear the GR. Grr. M. M. I hear I-M. Grim. And now the last word is grime. We have to do something to that word to make grim say grime. What do we need to add? What are we going to do? We add silent E at the end. Good job. All righty, guys. So it is time to wiggle. So stand up and wiggle. Do your wiggles. Wiggle, wiggle, wiggle. All right, so this time you're going to ride like a cowboy. Ride that horse like a cowboy. All right, blink like a pig. Blink like a little piggy. Blink like a piggy. Okay, now jump for joy. Woohoo! Jump for joy. All right. Nice job. Okay, wiggle back to your seats. Wiggle for a few more seconds. If push pause, and then hit play when you're ready. Okay? Wiggle back to those seats. So, in our previous lesson, we planned and drafted a retelling of our story, The Milk. We planned with the elements of the story on a worksheet, and then we wrote a draft in a paragraph form on a separate piece of paper in our journals. Today, we're going, there we go. In today's lesson, I'm going to show you how to edit a draft, okay? So remember, we have 4 steps to the writing process. We have planning, drafting, editing, and publishing. And today we are going to edit. And editing is what we do when we take a draft and we try to make it better. Even professional writers do this. They do not write perfect stories the first time around. Editing makes our writing better. So I have a draft for us to edit as a class, okay? This is not the draft that we worked on together as a class yesterday, but rather one that appeared like magic overnight. So say hello to my friend, Mr. Mouse. Even though ow and ow have the same sound, O-U and O-W, Mr. Mouse spells mouse differently. Today's draft is from Mr. Mouse. And sometimes Mr. Mouse sneaks in and listens to our class while we learn how to write. He's so shy, so he waits for everyone to go home before he does his own writing. So Mr. Mouse loves to write, but he needs our help with editing. So let's read his draft and help him edit. Okay. It says, The Milk. There was a lass named Jane. She took a bucket of milk to sell. Jane fell down. She wanted to buy a dress. She wanted to get a pig. Jane was sad. The end. What are some things that you notice that we need to fix? What do you guys notice? Oh, I noticed there's a lot of things that need to be capitalized that are not. I noticed there are no punctuation marks at the end. I also noticed that there's some misspelled words. So when we are editing, we need to do this. We need to make sure that we get all these mistakes. This T needs to be capitalized. Let me turn my pointer back on. This T needs to be capitalized. This T needs to be capitalized. There is spelled wrong. Was is spelled wrong. Last is spelled wrong. Named is spelled wrong. We have a lot of things that Mr. Mouse needs to have edited and corrected. Okay, so let's look at an edited copy of his story. The Milk. Do you see how this is capitalized? And this is capitalized. And the corrections are made with the spelling. There was a lass named Jane. Jane fell down. She wanted to buy a dress. She wanted to get a pig. Jane was sad. The end. So even though this is the edited version of the story, I still see something that is wrong. Do you guys notice something that is still wrong? There's no punctuation at the end of the sentences. So even though we've edited once, you can always go back and edit a second or third time. Let's look at the writing checklist to see how to edit a paragraph. So the first step was, do I have a title? Well, did Mr. Mouse have a title? He did. He had the milk. So he would get a check mark for that one. Okay. Have I described the setting at the start? There was a lass named Jane. She took a bucket of milk to sell. We really don't have a setting here, do we? We know who the character is, but we don't really have a setting. So he doesn't really have this one. So we need to put, um, let's do like what we do in Wit and Wisdom and put a triangle there. Have I named and described the characters? Well, he does. He talks about a lass named Jane. So, yes. Do I have a plot with a beginning, a middle, and an end? Let's see. She fell down. She wanted to buy a dress. She wanted to get a pig. She was sad. I feel like this needs to go at the end, doesn't it? That Jane fell down. I feel like some of this is not in order. What do you guys think? So maybe we need to put a triangle here because I don't know that it's all in the right order. Do all of my sentences start with uppercase letters? Well, if we look at his original writing, are they in uppercase letters? No. So he did go back and fix them. We went back and fixed them. So now we can give Mr. Mouse a check mark. Do all of my sentences end with a final mark or a punctuation mark? Well, we noticed that they do not. So this is definitely a no. Have I spelled all of my words correctly? In his rough draft, no, he did not. But we made the corrections already. So we'll put a check mark here. Have I added sense words that described how things look, feel, taste, sound, or smell? I remember right here it says Jane was sad. So he did add, Mr. Mouse did add that sense word that shows that he was sad, that she was sad. So when you are editing stuff, you need to use this editing checklist to make sure. So what we're going to do tomorrow is we're going to take what we wrote in the milk about the milk and we're going to edit our paragraphs. Okay. I'm going to go ahead and erase this really fast. Okay. So we have now completed the steps of the writing process, except for the publish. That will be the next thing that we do after we go back in and add those punctuation marks at the end of the paragraph. So you have an activity worksheet to do for today. Let me show you what it looks like. So you have words up here in the word box. We have the word doing, enjoying, giving, writing, hoping, and baking. And one has already been done for you as an example. Mom asked, "Would you like to join me in blank a cake?" Well, you need to look through all your choices. Which one would make sense? Would you like to join me in doing a cake, enjoying a cake, giving a cake, writing a cake, hoping a cake, or baking a cake? And they've already chosen the word baking for us because that word is the word that makes the most sense. Let's do another one together. Jane said, "Yes, Mom, I am blank. I can lick the bowl." Is it I am doing I can lick the bowl? I am enjoying I can lick the bowl? I am giving I can lick the bowl? I am writing I can lick the bowl? I am hoping I can lick the bowl. Which one makes the most sense? It's going to be the word hoping. So you're going to use your text boxes to answer those questions, okay? So you're going to do the next 4 all on your own. I'm going to go ahead and delete that one so you can do that one too. And then that is due tomorrow on the end of the day on Thursday, okay? All right, so our learning targets for today were that I can read words with different spellings for the oi sound. And we did that. We learned that OI and OY both say oi. And we can complete all steps of the writing process. And we did that. We worked on a plan and a draft of our own. And then today we went over how to edit and how to publish Mr. Mouse's stories. So that is all that I have for you guys today. Please make sure you get your work done. Tonight for homework, you're going to work on worksheet 8.2. Plus, I want you to read your story, The Frog Race, again. It's right here, Wednesday, The Frog Race. And here's your worksheet for today. Okay, so you have two things to do tonight: read The Frog Race and do the phonics worksheet. And today you will also have a new fluency passage that I'm going to upload in just a few minutes. So you will need to start working on that fluency as well. So that's all I've got. I hope you guys have a great afternoon, and I will see you later.